Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me, can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the 295th episode of the Alfa Insurance Georgia Prep Sports Drive for the GHSA State Title. Today we got a great show. We're going to talk about the biggest winners from the final week of the regular season. We'll look at the playoff brackets and then also highlight the results from this weekend, cross-country state champs, and we'll take a deep dive into the Volleyball State Champions, which were very exciting. It was the first time I ever saw Walton not win in person, but I was still really impressed with what North Cobb was able to do. And I think they have the best player in the state. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll also highlight my play of the week. And that, of course, is brought to you by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. So let's start with volleyball. On Friday, there were 3 matches, Class A, Class 2A, and Class 3A. I didn't get to see these in person because we were at the North Gwinnett and Norcross game, but I'll go over what happened real quick. So in Class A, it was a rematch between Mount Pisgah and Whitfield Academy. They were in the same area this year. Whitfield Academy, prior to this year, had never won a playoff match. They made it all the way to the finals, but they fell 3-1. Mount Pisgah got the title. That was the only match that guaranteed a first ever state champ would hoist the trophy, and it was Mount Pisgah that was able to do it. They finished 41-9. That surpassed last year's school record finish, and looks like they had a 25-16 win in the first set, 25-12 in the third after dropping the second, and then clinched it with a 25-23 victory. Lane Cruz led Pisgah with 25 kills, 13 digs, which is a lot. Out of the matches I saw that went to 4 sets, you'd have a team leader with 17. So Lane Cruz, shout out to her. She had an incredible championship performance. All right. In Class 2A, that one went to Mount Perrin. They won their 3rd straight state title, 3-1 over Landmark Christian. That's the Class 2A. They were also region rivals, and they were very senior-led. You had Caitlin Moran, Sadie Parkerson, Alexis Stubbs, Sarah Schwartz, and Annie Elliott, part of that team that went 44-9. They opened the season number 1, and they closed number 1. They never left the top spot in my poll. Truly great season. All right, in Class 3A, Sandy Creek ended up defeating Oconee County 3-0. That was a number 1 versus number 2 matchup, and they won 25-23, 30-28, 26-24. Every single set came down to 2 points, so a nail biter, but they were able to come in clutch each set. All right, so let's go to what I saw on Saturday. Hold up one sec. All right, so the first match on Saturday was the 4A State Championships. Pace Academy, who, if you look at the national polls, the highest rated team in the country is Pace Academy. They, I think, were number 18 in the Max Preps. You had Pope at like 21 and Alpharetta 22 heading into this week. Walton was also high up there. But in the 4-1, Pace Academy had not lost a single set heading into the finals. They were one of the hottest teams. Lovett opens up a 2-0 lead on them. Pace Academy comes back, forces the 5th set, and then closes out a 15-11 victory. They finish the season 37-3 and with an 18-match win streak. So that one, a heartbreaker for Lovett. But in the process, Pace Academy becomes the first team in volleyball history to win 7 straight state titles. And credit to them because they've done it in 2A at first. They moved up to 3A, and of course now they're in Class 4A. All right, so Class 5A, that one came down to a 5th set, and I think what's interesting about this one, McIntosh defeats Greater Atlanta Christian in the 5 sets. They won 3 straight 5-set matches to win state. They matched up with Jefferson in the quarterfinals. That was a 3-2 victory. They played Kell, which was one of the best teams in the state, in the semis, another 5-set victory. And then they edged GAC, an outstanding team, 3-2 on Saturday. And in that game, they won the 4-set 25-15 before closing out that 15-13 win. A heartbreak for GAC, who was the defending state champs. But it was McIntosh sophomore, Maya Conley. She had 11 kills. Claudia Meditz, another sophomore, had 9 kills. And then freshman Lena Wang, 10 kills. They had combined for 30 of the Chiefs' 43, all either sophomores or freshmen. So when those rankings come out next year, McIntosh will certainly be at the top after winning with that young squad. And then Sophia Purdon, she had 37 of McIntosh's 42 assists in the game. So that was a great win for them. And then after that, 7A played before the 6A finals, and that was North Cobb against Walton. So North Cobb had an 18-match win streak going into the region championship last month. Walton came back from a 2-0 deficit, wins in 5 sets, gets the #1 seed. But if you look outside of that match, which Walton was able to come back and kind of stun them, just get hot, North Cobb's last 2 months of the season were absolutely dominant. They played 25 matches, only lost 1. So they get to the finals for this rematch, and you can just tell they came with more confidence. They weren't scared of Walton at all, even though they're a 15-time state champ. They faced them before, beat them in the regular season, and just had a lot of energy. And then Nicole Antova, the senior outside hitter, she had a team-high 17 kills. She had 78 total kills in the playoffs, and she absolutely dominated. I thought she was the most impressive player I saw this weekend in the championships. Just every time Walton would try to get back in it, she came with the big play. She overpowered them, and anytime they set it up to her, I mean, she had Walton on their toes. And I talked to Coach Steven Sansing after. He said the confidence we played with today came from just how well we've been playing those last 2 months of the season. They played great, and our defense has been a strength all season long. So just a tremendous team effort. You can look more into that recap at scoreatl.com. All right, in Class 6A, this is the one I really want to talk about. It was Alpharetta against Pope. Similar to North Cobb and Walton, where they had a big win streak snapped in the region championship, Alpharetta had a 32-match win streak snapped in the region championship against Pope. Alpharetta started the season 1-2. I think their losses were to like North Cobb and maybe Buford. But other than that, they had the longest streak anyone in the state had this year. They match up with Pope, don't get the win, and then just dominate their way through the playoffs. On Saturday, they were so dominant in this match, it almost didn't look like a championship. It looked like a first rounder because they ended up getting the sweep, and the way their team is made up, I think is just so impressive and unique. So on the outside, you have Class 6A Player of the Year, Logan Wiley, who's going to Georgia Tech. She had tremendous power, unbelievable athlete. Can't wait to see what she does in college. Just a truly special talent. So you have Logan Wiley on the outside. You have Brooke Boyles, the other senior captain. She's on the other side, on the outside. She came in clutch. She had the game-winning point in the first set. She played incredible defense. And then in the middle is Abigail Lee, a 6'2" junior setter. So Pope is worried about getting its defense to the outside to combat them, but then anytime they try to get it in the middle, you had Abigail Lee just with incredible sets, and then anytime she would sense that Pope was trying to shift to the outside to play defense, she would just pop it right over the net, and she had a great run in the second set with 3 straight points. It really got the crowd going, and thought she played a really key role, and then also had some of the more impressive winners on the longest rallies of the match. Another senior that stood out to me was Jayla Drayton. She played outstanding. Had a couple errors in the first set. She took accountability for it, and then I'd say she probably had the most difficult plays of the entire match, and she really helped spark them as well. It was just a great team effort, and so we'll have these final rankings out, but I really think Alpharetta made the case where I think they're the best team in the state. Regardless of class, they were number 20 in the nation heading into this. I just think the way they played late and then the unique talent they have at the net is next level. So I think we have a clip ready to go. This is my play of the week. This is Alpharetta clinching the title, and I want you to see how many different girls contributed on this final point before junior Madison McClin, a name we haven't even mentioned yet, is able to block Pope and just send the ball right down for the championship clinching point. So here it goes. There's Abigail serving. Pope's on the other side. There's a block by Brooke. There's Logan digging it out. Brooke again. And then here comes the block. There it is. So just just a perfect point to end this match because every single girl played just great together. Sophomore Kennedy White, she had the game winner in the second. And you could tell the team was just battle tested, ready for it. And so that is a great result for that program. Congratulations on that season. And I'm definitely looking forward to see where those girls are able to go next year, whether it's Georgia Tech. I know Abigail, she's committed to Southern Methodist. Just a really talented team that played some out-of-state matches too, and just showed how well Georgia is stacking up against the best of the best. But that's it for the volleyball segment. We'll go ahead and take a quick break and thank our sponsors, and we'll be back on the other side.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me, can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Okay, we got it. All right, welcome back. So we're going to start by talking about our game on Friday, the North Gwinnett and Norcross. So North Gwinnett got the win, 51-41, but it was a unique situation. I've never been at a game where what comes down to what's at stake is not necessarily the result of this game. It's like the point margin. So I'm on the Parkview sideline. I think they've gone up by 17 at this point, or maybe it was, no, I think they were up by 19 because they forced it to a 3-score game. And it was all about the margin because Peachtree Ridge beat Duluth, and then North Gwinnett holding on for the win. That was going to force a 3-way tie. And so they knew they had to beat Norcross by a certain margin in order to get the top seed. And I mean, this is full-on strategy. They're wondering if they're going to fake take a knee at the end. And so they end up getting a really impressive win. But then it's also like, well, Norcross, by scoring late, they did themselves a favor by winning the region. So it was just a weird situation. But I thought it was a great write-up that kind of explains that. North Gwinnett upset 6th-ranked Norcross 51-41 at home. But the Blue Devils came away with the Region 7 title after converting on 4th and 14 and scoring with 10 seconds left on the clock to bring the Bulldogs' lead to below the necessary 13-point margin that would have put them atop the standings. So the region title, it came down to that touchdown. It was pretty remarkable. The offensive line did a phenomenal job all night, and that was Coach Eric Godfrey, North Gwinnett's coach, after the game. The running backs ran hard, and of course, quarterback Ryan Hall leading the team. He was the MVP after. The defense had to make some adjustments and did a good job of stopping them, kind of. So I think, obviously, this game had a ton of offense. Neither team punted in that first quarter. I think there was 6 or 7 touchdowns scored in that first quarter. Talking like 80-yard touchdown runs by A.J. Watkins, big-time go routes and passes, runs by Ryan Hall up the middle. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. Norcross set a school record last year for its offense. As good as they've been with their state championship run with Alvin Kamara, Lorenzo Carter, Miles Autry back in 2012, 2013. Last year, they actually had the best offensive team in history with, I think it was 48 points per game. Well, recently, with their playmakers and the ability to move AJ around, they didn't punt once against Peachtree Ridge. So Norcross came into this, it's like, okay, their offense is clicking on full cylinders. But anyone that watched that game, North Gwinnett 100% matched them explosively. And once they finally got a stop on Norcross, which Norcross did put itself behind the sticks a couple times, whether it was big plays by Jake Godfrey, the freshman, or penalties. As soon as North Gwinnett was able to get the stops, that's when they really turned on the energy and just kept the aggressive offensive style all night long. So that's why Coach Godfrey said we did a good job of stopping them, kind of, because it was a back-and-forth shootout. All right, so after the back-and-forth first half, that included 6 touchdowns in the first quarter and ended with North Gwinnett up 28-27, which is also funny because you go into that knowing you have to have the 13-point margin, and then Norcross misses the field goal, or sorry, the PAT. So it was all about that margin. All right. The Bulldogs defense started to take over in the third. Freshman linebacker and Coach Godfrey's son Jake forced and recovered a Norcross fumble, and after picking up 20 yards on 3rd and 20 and then converting on 4th and 2, Ryan Hall found Nick Bookman for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion that pushed the lead to 36-27. A great play call right there, great pass by Hall, and then just the foresight, knowing that you want to go for 2, and that put them up by 9 points. All right, Jake was really good in the second half, and I love to see it. Said Godfrey, he played with a lot of emotion, but really the whole team did. It was a really good job. All right, the younger Godfrey came up big in the fourth quarter on Norcross's last drive as well, bringing up a 4th and 14 with 1:32 left with a huge sack. Blue Devils quarterback A.J. Watkins then connected with another Blue Devils quarterback, Dylan Muhammad, to pick up a fresh set of downs. However, and then Muhammad returned the favor with a pass to Watkins for the final touchdown. Both Watkins and Hall had 3 rushing scores in the opening half, in which the Bulldogs picked up 14 first downs to Norcross's 4. We didn't want to just match their physicality. We wanted to beat their physicality, Godfrey explained. And I really like our kids in the way they did that tonight. That's what we've got to do heading into the playoffs. So overall, I was impressed with North Gwinnett. That's the best they've looked in my opinion. Offensively, Ryan Hall played outstanding. He's a great athlete. He can sling the ball around, and if he plays like that, he's going to be hard for defenses to stop for sure. And then with Norcross, I mean, the big thing is A.J. Watkins. His breakaway speed is next level. Every time I've seen him, as soon as he gets into the second level of the defense, he's not been caught yet. He is a home run, explosive, just MVP of that team, and he's shown up every single game this season for him. So it was a very exciting matchup. All right, so let's look at the 7A playoffs now and what happened. So North Gwinnett, because of that, they are going to get the number 3 seed, and they're going on the road against West Forsyth in the first round. That's going to be a really solid matchup with West Forsyth. The strength of their team defensively is that linebacking core, and they're going to have their hands full with that, just the tempo of North Gwinnett, and then just how Ryan Hall is able to run around and get that passing game going. So that's who North Gwinnett has. In the bottom left on that side, Peachtree Ridge, who got the number 2 seed, they're going to play Lambert in the first round, a really dangerous number 3 seed. Their only losses in the region were a close one to West Forsyth and then to Milton. So it should be a really intriguing matchup right there. And then you'll have Duluth has Milton. Duluth got the 4 seed, and then Norcross is going to be hosting Denmark. The way that bracket works, though, Norcross wins that game. They're going to be hosting potentially the winner of Wheeler and Buford. So, I mean, this 7A playoff bracket, North Gwinnett wanted to get the number 1 seed. However, that late Norcross touchdown that puts them on the other side, they don't have to play Buford. The team they would have to match up, though, in the second round is Walton. So it's really, is that a win or a loss? You're either going to have to play Buford or Walton potentially in the second round. So that's just the way the 7A playoff bracket goes. But let's look at some other key matchups in the first round that were impacted by some of our recent games. You have Archer against Valdosta in the first round. Archer got the number 3 seed after being on top of the region prior to the Grayson game. Grayson's going to get the number 1 now. And then they have a little more favorable of a quadrant. They're going to play Richmond Hill at home first, and then they have the winner of East Coweta and North Paulding. And then the other matchups, you got Denmark, Norcross, Wheeler, Buford, as we mentioned. As for Parkview, they're going to be the number 4 seed out of Region 4. They're going to Colquitt County in the first round. The winner of that has the winner of Marietta and Westlake. You also have North Cobb and Collins Hill, and then Duluth and Milton. And then on the bottom left, Peachtree Ridge ended up getting the number 2 seed, as we said. They're playing Lambert, and the winner of that has Osborne or Mill Creek. So basically, all 3 of those teams for Region 7, I mean, they're going to have the number 1, number 2, and number 3 teams in Class 7A waiting for them potentially in the second round. So it's going to be tough, but I think they've all taken steps forward. They've got some good athletes. They got leadership, and I think all 3 of those teams we mentioned have great quarterbacks. Peachtree Ridge, Darnell Kelly, he's proven he's the real deal. Ryan Hall, and then the versatility of Norcross. So no shortage of quarterback talent. All right, some other big games in 7A that we mentioned the results in terms of the playoffs, but what they were able to do. East Coweta survived a 47-46 overtime game against Pebblebrook. Pebblebrook would have made the playoffs had they won in overtime. A tough loss for them. North Paulding was able to hold off Marietta to earn the number 2 seed over Marietta. He's got the 3. Obviously, McEachern's 1, and Harrison number 4. Newton was tied up with Archer 14-14. They lose this game. They aren't making the playoffs. South Gwinnett beat Brookwood. However, they absolutely dominated in the second half, pulled away a 47-14 victory. 33 unanswered points. So a little frustration the last few weeks. They certainly let off that steam in the second half. A big-time win. Grayson, they had the 41-14 win over Parkview to clinch the region title. That's their 12th in the last 16 years. That was a 7-7 game at the half, and then they took total control, outscoring them 34-7 after that. Walton, they clinched a perfect season with a 42-16 win over Wheeler. It's their first undefeated regular season since 2017. Large part of that is because the last few years, North Gwinnett's been spoiling any chance at a perfect season, but they were able to get that win. North Cobb, I said North Gwinnett, I meant North Cobb. North Cobb is going to be the number 2 seed. And so that obviously was the second goal for the Raiders this year. Win the opener, win the region, and win state. So that's a great undefeated season for them. Wheeler did have a 16-14 lead in that game before looks like Walton poured on a 28-0 run to close it out. All right, so that's it for 7A. Hold on one sec. I didn't mention Westlake. Let's look at that region. So that's going to be Region 2. Carrollton is the region champ. They're going to have Harrison in the first round. The winner of that plays Archer Valdosta. And then Westlake's going to play Marietta in the first round. Should be a good matchup right there. And then the winner has to play the winner of Parkview and Colquitt. So you can go check out all these brackets at scoreatl.com or the GHSA website. All right, let's get into some other 6A results from Week 12. Thomas County Central had already wrapped up the region title. They closed out a 10-0 season, 31-16 win over Northside. River Ridge had to win to get into the playoffs. They beat Allatoona 50-29. Allatoona misses out. You have Effingham County. They capped a perfect season. They beat Brunswick 31-28. That gives Glen Academy the number 2 seed and Brunswick the number 3. Houston County closed out the year 42-0 against Veterans. And then some other ones. You had Lee County, a 65-14 win over Tiff County. So let's go to the 6A brackets real quick. Lee County is going to play Dunwoody in the first round. They earned the number 3 seed after North Atlanta's massive victory. The number 1 seed above North Atlanta Dunwoody, of course, is Marist. So North Atlanta, they're the number 2 seed. They're going to be hosting Houston County. 100% one of the best first-round matchups anywhere in the classifications. North Atlanta's only loss this year was to Marist, a really close game. They've got firepower, and what's the one thing Houston County struggled with? It was the Thomas County Central game or the Lee County game. If you can run the ball well against them, keep the ball out of their offense's hand as much as possible, and use your speed, you can go toe-to-toe with them. I think that's a big test for North Atlanta. They've played outstanding all year. This is the best team, in my opinion, they've ever had. And I think that's a tremendous matchup in the first round. What a draw. All right, you got also, because Roswell was able to beat Alpharetta. Gosh, Roswell looks really good. They're the number 1 seed out of Region 7. They're going to play River Ridge first, and then Blessed Trinity is the number 2 seed behind Roswell. They've got Creekview in the first round, and then the winner of that is going to have to square off with the winner of South Paulding and Gainesville. That's a loaded quadrant in the bottom left. You've got Blessed Trinity, Creekview, South Paulding, Gainesville, Woodward Academy, Evans, North Atlanta, and Houston County. It does not get much more exciting than that. On the upper left, congratulations to Douglas County. They clinched a perfect 10-0 season, the number 1 seed out of Region 5. They're going to play Habersham Central in the first round. You got Alpharetta going on the road against Sequoia. Region champ Effingham County is going to play Lovejoy, and then Lee County and Dunwoody. So I think that bottom left is probably twice as challenging as that top left. No offense, but because that bottom left is loaded. All right, on the other side, the big first-round matchups. Number 4 seed Northside Warner Robins at Marist should be a really tough road trip for them. Marist has just been textbook all season long, not making mistakes. And then Jack Ewer at quarterback, he just comes up clutch. He is a tough kid. All right, you got East Paulding going on the road against Lanier. I think that's a great matchup too. East Paulding getting the number 3 seed behind Hughes and Douglas County is no knock on them at all. I think they can definitely make a playoff push. All right, Hughes is going to host North Forsyth, and then they will play the winner of Sprayberry and Rome. Last year, Hughes, who I thought that Hughes team last year, you could argue that was the best high school football team ever. They set the state record in points, and even John Reed, Rome's head coach, called them the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's how good he saw them and just their size and overwhelming talent. So that's a potential second-round matchup, Hughes and Rome. Last year, I think it was 49-7 in favor of Hughes. So Hughes, obviously, they've got a different look this season. They're more run-oriented. They rely on Justice Savage. They have a more balanced offense. They don't have Jelani Thurman. They don't have Bo Hughley. But I think that potential Hughes-Rome matchup in the second round is big time right there. That